Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Pro Cycling Manager 2018. It's Career Mode episode 51. And we're about to begin the Tour de Fords. So we're staying in Norway for another race. It's just a couple days after the Tour of Norway itself concluded, as we're now heading down to the land of the fjords for some fun and exciting racing. 3-stager. It's not very long, 157 kilometers. And let's see, Bora. Number of big teams here. Barring Merida, EF, AG2R Quickstep, Lotto, Sunweb, most. That's more than half of the World Tour teams are present for this race. Let's see, Jay McCarthy, De Plus, Mahorich is here again, Arthur Visho. Not a ton of big names though, so that gives us a chance to pull off top 10 potentially.
So it will be a tactical race.
Last one we did manage to get a stage victory, and we did it with just 4 riders. This time we have a full team of 6. It's a little bit mixed up. And obviously by now you should be aware that Pro Cycling Manager 2019 will be out here very soon. Just a few weeks from now. Today as of recording, yesterday. Otherwise, or no, a couple days ago as of recording, sorry. I'm trying to think of when I'm recording this versus when this episode will premiere. But yeah, less than 3 weeks now till release, and one feature I'd like to see, which as far as I know, last time I checked about a week ago, there was 0 updates in terms of what will be included, what new features will be included in 2019, what updates they've made to the game, what's different between PCM 2018 and 2019. But what I'd like to see, I've brought up a few things, but one thing I'd really like to see is added into the economic model. Rainy, don't drop out the back! Don't drop out the... Come on. Ochtendorf, you two. Jeez, guys. I just caught that he was at the back of the field, and come on, we got a downhill here.
A couple of teams
Recover
have
a little.
up as pacemakers for the pack. They obviously don't have anybody in the breakaway group.
Okay. That's pretty much to the bottom. Wow, that is a huge gap all of a sudden. And it's partially because we're pulling at the front. Oh, great job. So distracted with him at the back, I forgot the other guys that were trying to get to the front. And suddenly they accelerate the group. But at a 73, come on, versus 89. Marini. Get it together, buddy. Get it together. Gap's coming down. Gap's coming down. He's getting closer. Here we go. Here's a good chance. Get back in there before you run out of energy
Just gotta hang on.
and just fall over dead on stage number 1. Oh, you're right there. No! Need some recovery here. There it is. There it is. There it is. Whew. He's alive. At the base of another climb. And with very little energy. Oh, jeez. Just hang on. Just hang on to the back end here. Oh, come on. A 93 and he's not even hanging on. Don't die. Don't die. What else do we have here? This is supposed to be a sprint, so Marini is actually supposed to be a protected rider here, but, you know, so much for that idea. Simpson, why don't you drop back there and actually protect him? Vervecchi's going to be a leader. Swerble, take care of Veldeman, the other leader, and Simpson's here, Marini. Help you out. He made it over the top. Should be okay, but wow, look at that. 94, and he is just struggling. A little bit of recovery there now with the help of George Simpson. I will move him up when I can here. For now, he needs to recover. It's sad that at a 94, he's like barely hanging onto the field. Okay, move up, move up, move up. Alright, well, this was supposed to just be a quick introduction and then, you know, on we go with the stage, but things happen. Anyway, what I'd like to see is a new economic model introduced into the game that includes the other team costs that we don't get. Right now, it's just staff and riders with a limited budget. I'd like to see that budget more realistic, increased, and other costs incurred. Right now, besides those basic things, the only cost you have is training camps. And I don't know what they did to the training camps in the 2018 edition that made them disappear. Because other than reconnaissance and fitness, I don't know what happened to training. I mean, it just disappeared. Absent. So I'd like to see training camps brought back in whole. That be included as an expense. But then, I would love to see an economic model that starts to include the other parts of running a team. Transportation, your vehicles, your maintenance team, your medical team, your nutritionists, your soigneurs, you know, all of that goes into running a cycling team. I mean, that would be a phenomenal addition. And you don't even have to incorporate hardly any of it into the game itself. The part that I would like to see incorporated in the game, and this is what I brought up earlier, is the actual... let's go ahead and get water here. Actual inclusion of an interaction between team cars and the riders themselves. You have vehicles that are animated as it is right now. They're present, but there's no actual interaction with them. So it would be nice to see that. It would be nice to see like a medical car being introduced somehow. Again, it's one that's present, but it's not interacted with. So it'd be nice to see a rider right next to the medical car and get medical attention to recover from some sort of, you know, injury after like a crash. Wow, Marini's dropping back on a 91. Is he really? I guess I'm not going to cut forward. We're already over halfway through the stage, so let's just push this to ×4. And Marini, why are you so far back when you were put to the front of the field? There you go. Get back up there. This is a little bit punchy for for a sprint stage, isn't it? Holy cow, we have struggled through this stage so far. Not just with the drama of Marini falling out the back on the climb in the opening kilometers, but throughout. This is the last lengthy climb of the day, but we've still got a number of short, punchy ones the rest of the way. And Marini, again, very weak. Wachtendorf, very weak. Simpson is nearly exhausted from his efforts with Marini, and this could be it for Wachtendorf. This could be it for Marini. This could be it for Simpson. Wachtendorf has been protecting Vervecchi. Let's switch that up. Simpson, Marini's done. Let him go. Marini just never recovered from that initial effort. Simpson just about hanging on here, maybe? No. Group of 12. Okay. So there's 3 left. Alright, well, okay. It's back on. That's good. That's good. Maybe. Maybe not. They are right there, and they're back on for now. But he just lost all of his energy trying to get back up towards the front. Still there, but not there. 2 riders left off the front. Minute and a half is their gap. 100 riders left in the peloton, and my team is suffering through this one. It's just been a relentless pace. And these climbs, somebody's making a lot of riders pay the price for getting over the top of these short, punchy climbs. Simpson out the back again. Swerble is fading pretty fast, so I'm nearly down to just Veldeman and Vervecchi on a sprint stage. This is classified as a sprint stage. No matter how much it looks a bit more like a hill stage, it is classified as a sprint stage. And holy cow, things just happened. Glad Swerble was the only one caught up in this crash right on the edge of the river. Hopefully nobody fell in the river. It appears that everybody's safe and back up on their bikes. We need to set Swerble to auto, and it looks like they might get back on. The pace just suddenly went out of the field. It's weird how it does that sometimes. And so we're just going to pop right back up to 90-something riders here in a second. And there you go. Swerble back on duty for Vervecchi. Veldeman riding on his own. Couple climbs left to go. Here's a Category 3 points available, but I'm not interested in that. Holy cow, the Norwegians are all over the mountain standings. Top 4 places. And here we go, one last categorized climb on the day, and that takes care of that. Swerble is still present, but Swerble is very much struggling right now. 38 riders is all that is left. This is not a bunch sprint. Okay, 62 riders, maybe it is. Do any of them have any energy left? Probably not. How many people are looking like Swerble right now? Nelson, Oliveira, Buoni. Wow, these guys are all here? Really? Taylor Finney. There goes Swerble out the back, and we're going to see a big gap because that peloton is about to be down to 36 riders. 36 riders is all that is left, and we keep climbing despite the nothing categorized. One more time we're going to have to do that, but here we go. We're about to go uphill a little bit, and then we're going to go uphill a little bit. So it is very punchy for not being that kind of stage. Better sprinter is probably Veldeman. Yes, it is. Veldeman, why don't you follow? Let's say you do a 99 first, and Vervecchi, it is 5 kilometers. 5 kilometers to the finish. I do want Vervecchi at the finish line, so the lead out's only going to be the last, I don't know, 2.5K. Select both. We'll go at 3 kilometers here. And there we go. Now we set Vervecki. Oh, this is such a good time to attack right now, though. Attack the climb, get an advantage over the top. There you go, there you go. And you're going to sprint. And then Veldeman. There we go. Come on, come on. Top five. Could he get higher? Ooh, we got a little breakaway. Of course, there's not going to be a time gap here. Arthur Vichot takes the win over Edward Toynes. Jay McCarthy's 4th. Veldeman gets 5th. Cockard is 6th. Where were all these names on the early? Lucas Hamilton's here. There's a lot of big names here. Vervecki takes 19th. Let me drop that far down. Here comes Swerble. Plenty of gaps here. It's already been 2.5 minutes. We'll see if there's any gaps before this group at 2.5 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if they just start lumping all those guys together, even though they would never do that in real life. Hey, since we're on that subject, Pro Cycling Manager 2019. Take care of that, please. Jeez. I get when you've got 5 sprinters that go off the front 5 seconds ahead of the chase group. Tiny gap on the final kilometer as guys sprint and others don't. That's not a gap. That's not a time gap. They don't count those. But when you're 20 kilometers from the finish and the group splits apart, and then that group finishes more than a minute behind the group in front, or 45 seconds behind the group in front, and there's a clear gap. You know, the back didn't stretch and the front caught them, but a sizable gap, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. This game does it all the time. You see those gaps. You see 20, 30, 40, 50-second gaps just get wiped away in scoring. So, apparently this has turned into a wish list episode. Probably going to be the name of the episode now that I think about it. Wish list it is. Back to that subject. Okay, they did open up a gap, minute 8 after 30th, and then 2:33. There's that next group on the road. So all of that at the front was put into just 2 groups. At least it wasn't 1. At least they didn't all end up on the same time. But that was 10 groups crossing the line. And it was still consolidated to 2. Now, I understand that it wasn't going to be 10 separate times. There was going to be some consolidation to that, but it consolidated all the way to just 2. Kind of going back to my point. Mountain stages, they don't tend to do it, but the hill and sprint stages, they do that. Oh, and see here it says that was a hill stage. Interesting. I could have sworn that I saw it say that it was flat. Stage number 2. How's it going to look? Fortuneo Samsic is going to be replaced by Deezer. So another household name. Set to be replaced. Giro still going on. Check in with that. Last I saw it was Nairo Quintana. Stage 2 looks similar to Stage 1, but not quite as punchy. And this one is classified flat, 176 kilometers. We'll take a look at those Giro results before we hop into stage number 2. And actually, for a brief moment, I was thinking I was just going to stay live, go through this, have no edits to make in this, which makes life easier for me. I do like to do that occasionally, but stage 2, it's on the flat. There's no way that we're going to have the same issues with Marini that we had in this last stage. It should go much more according to plan. So we'll hop back in towards the end of the stage. But meanwhile, Dumoulin takes second. So I'm guessing that this climbing stage? No, time trial. There it is, 32 kilometers. So time trial. I was just surprised by Latour being that high up. He's a decent time trialist. Quintana, Nibali still on top. Dumoulin now into third. And actually, Nibali moved up a spot. Ivan Sosa had been in second. So Ivan Sosa drops out of the podium altogether. They've got to be just about done with the Giro here. All right. On to the last little sequence of the stage. 30K to go. We've got one categorized climb left coming up here in just a moment. Group lost contact for a little bit, coming back together. You can see that it's raining. There are crashes. Crashes are splitting the field. Most of the gaps are 100% due to the crashes. Some of the riders will make it back on, like a big group about to make contact. There you go. We're back up to 60. 41 might, so we might hit about 100, but I'm not sure after that. And even then, those 41 may not make it back, especially now that we are hitting this climb. It could open the gap up further instead of give an opportunity to close it. But no, the entire field actually proves me wrong. 113 riders now all together. Next item on the wish list. Some of these have been mentioned before, but trying to compile that today, and no, I don't have anything written down. It just kind of happened spur of the moment. I'd like to see them get the full license for UCI. It's nice that we can use a modded database. By the way, the field has split again. So it's nice that that option is there, that you can alter the database, that you can change it, and that the community can take care of it. But this is a game that I think does decently well. And it's a license that it's not like there's other competition that has the rights to that license. So it should be a license that's, ripe for the picking. Meaning it shouldn't cost that much when nobody else has obtained it. It would be more one of those, you want a license to... Sure, you're going to give us money for that? Yeah, I like that. Right? I just... Somewhere in my mind, anyway, I don't see that being a major expense, like in comparison trying to buy, the license, fully licensed for FIFA, or the NBA, the NFL, so, etc., right? There hasn't been other competition out seeking this license, so they shouldn't be overcharging, over-evaluating the cost of that license. 54 riders at the moment, but we are seeing plenty of splits. It is already down to 10K, 78 riders. This is actually, I should have formed up already and attacked this climb. A little distracted here, knowing that we're within 9 kilometers now. But we'll see who gets up and over this. 28 riders now, 28. That's that Category 3 climb we went over, and there's the top 7 riders. Jay McCarthy's trying to take off. We're going to go 99s. See if anybody's off the back. No, everybody is here. That doesn't mean everybody's usable, like Wachtendorf, who is currently at the back. A little weak in that area, but Feldman Oh gosh, I only have one lead out guy unless I use Veldeman for that, and I think I will. So we're going to go Veldeman and Swerble. Vecchi's going to go at the back and hitch a ride. So Swerble is already at the front. How far away? There's Marini. There's Vecchi. But Veldeman's the one who needs to get on. So Swerble, don't attack just yet. Don't attack just yet. And now you can start to push it. Let's take it to this side here. Open it up. Open it up. It's already 6K.
There are just 5 kilometers left.
Jay McCarthy off the front. 4.5 kilometers. Go 98 here. Veldeman, let's use your gel. Next item, while we head towards this finish line. 2.5K, Veldeman now taking over the reins.
And they're off. It's going to be very
Marini
fast.
ready to go, and we'll come around this corner. Wait. Sprint everybody. There you go. Veldeman's a little better off placed than Marini, but of course Marini is the sprinter. Come on. Ooh, that little climb, that hurt. Oh, that climb hurt.
Great
Toynes,
start.
Visho,
Really paid off, and there's sprinter
Navetti,
right off the bacon.
Ascalon, but the Veldeman, 5th place again. Marini, 6th place. Buati, Cockard. I think Buati struggled just as much with that little
Sheer willpower.
incline just before the finish line as much as my sprinters did, because Buati couldn't climb a mountain if his life depended on it. Well, no, not technically, because he stays in races. He gets over them eventually, but he is not known for his climbing. 5th and 6th and 15th, not a bad result. If I had known that little incline would have been there, I would have started my sprint a little bit later. Still a good result. The next item on the wish list, the aforementioned interaction with team cars. I would love to see that take place here in Pro Cycling Manager 2019 or 2020, whenever. However, let's make it happen. Actually getting water bottles. I mean, if the water bottles are in the game, if it's a feature in the game,
Here are the race highlights.
why not do it right?
For you.
It would take so little to have a car, a generic car, at the back that you interact with. And connecting that back to the first one, why not? And here you wouldn't need the license, right? But why not take that a step further? Have different cars and have those cars be an upgradable item for your staff, for your team. How much boost, how much help do you get from your car? So you have X amount of cars that you could take. You have your continental races where you have that. You have your international races where you go abroad. You leave the continent that you're based out of, and so now all of a sudden, you know, your team's nation has a bigger impact as opposed to just what riders you have, and it was a great addition here in balancing. You know, like my team, sponsorship wise, wants to have riders out of Belgium, riders out of the Netherlands, and riders out of the US. They don't care if we have others. So those aspects are already a great addition, and I love that. I'd like to see them build on that further by having it matter what continent you're based out of, what continent you're racing on, because now, as I was talking about before, it starts playing into the cost, transportation, flying, hotel stays, doing the Tour of Norway, followed by the Tour des Fjords, where you are 2 days later in the same nation. You should have the same team racing with only 1 to 2 riders changing. So now you're dealing with hotel costs for those couple days in between by keeping the team there, keeping the team present. We fly in 2 guys to join the team because I only had 4, but now I go up to 6. So 2 guys are transported from our base to there. That cost is added in. The doctor, right, wasn't present. They were at the other race there at Amgen Tour of California, presumably. I don't know. I don't remember for sure, but just throwing this out there, spitballing. You know, you have all of those costs. You have that staff. But then, again, we have the team car. Team cars are upgradable, right? For example, you have simple sedans in a lot of the field. You have SUVs in some of the field. There are Mini Coopers for Sunweb. Bahrain Merida has a link with McLaren Racing, and so they have a crazy McLaren car that they're using right now at the Giro d'Italia. Why not have that be a perk, be a bonus? Team bus, right? There's that other thing. Are you Continental, where transportation is cheaper, and you have a team bus? What's the quality of the team bus? How does that affect the race day condition of your riders? Simple additions that add so much depth to the game. And keep it simple. Okay, stage 3. Sprint stage, so we're looking for a sprint. So Veldeman hanging on to a top 5 placing in this race so far. We are absolutely going to make a push for him. You can also see there's a little incline at the finish again, so that's going to favor Veldeman more than it's probably going to favor Marini, but we'll certainly try for both. Vervecchi, again, doesn't need to catch a ride any longer. He needs to give us that little push towards the finish line as a type of lead out, and maybe I try to lead out both Veldeman and Marini and have them both sprint for it. We'll see. So, throwing a lot of ideas out there. I think I'm way past number 3 on the list at this point, but I think a lot of that was just tying number 1 and number 3 in together, from the team buses, from the cooking staff, to how do you get from a Continental team that has a car with a couple spare tires, maybe 1 spare bike, and some gels and waters, in the car, no team radio or anything like that, where they're just old school, here we are, if you need to see me, come back to the car, we're riding behind you. Small budget, no budget kind of affair versus, the crazy budget of Team Sky, now Ineos, or Bahrain Merida, or whoever that is at the top of the tour. So there's significant gaps in what they have, in that quality of life and what it does. Now, you add in the mechanics, you get the basics of it down initially, and you're set, right? You're in good shape long term. Down the road, not in the first edition, right? You make sure that it works, you work out the bugs in the first year, you get it functioning. Down the road, you start adding in more in terms of the bonus and the effects and what it does. Because now we can start getting into the reality of, and they've already got this in game, and I don't pay enough attention to it, rider profiles. Certain riders struggle in the cold. Certain riders struggle in the heat. Certain riders struggle in the rain. Certain riders are going to perform better in scenario A, B, or C, but not in D, E, F. So now you can start adding in another layer down the road, another year from now, where you get into the team bus and the preferred travel methods, the minimum requirements to be happy. So now you're adding in a whole nother element in regards to the rider's reaction to all of those additions that I was just talking about, like the multiple forms of transportation, the added costs of that, the upgrades of the team as a whole. So this is more like your headquarters thing. That so many games have that today anyway. So it's not like we're bringing something new to the table. It's just something new to this game. But so many games do it already. So the model is out there and it's easy to embrace and follow. It wouldn't be that hard for them to have that headquarters side of things where you have your various modes of transportation and your training and all of that. And now that gets me into the next part on the wish list, and we'll see. Maybe I'll leave it off at this point. I haven't thought of anything beyond this, but again, this was spur of the moment. Anyway, the training needs to be reworked. It needs to be evolved. It is far too simplistic in its current form. You have 3 or 4, I think it's 3. I'm working with a small budget here, so I only have a couple trainers. 3 basic forms of training methods. And then you have trainers of various quality assigned to working with those riders. They have a scope in their training. And then the riders have fitness and form. Form builds, you have fatigue, right? The basis for all of the models are there. Now, that basis, it's fine. I get it. I understand it. I can work with it. No problem. But it's not enough. It's not enough. It needs to be evolved. Now, that basis is fine. Keep that. But we need more options, more control over the aspects of it. How to do it. At this point, you only have about 3 options. What trainer works with them, what the scope of that training is, and at the beginning of the year, you decide how fit they're going to be at that point. And you're going to see their fitness scale, their slope, the rises and falls throughout the year of how it's expected to go. And then that's that. That's it. I need more than that. I need multiple training options. So, bringing back the training camps that can affect things short term or long term. They used to have those features. I don't know what happened to it. And maybe they pulled it back so that they could rework it, but it was going to take a year to rework, and so they're going to reintroduce it. 2019, hey, yeah. Come on, work with me here. Reintroduce it with an evolved format. So there you go, we're already on track. And if not, get to it. Watch this video. Come on, guys. Make those changes. And if you like what I'm suggesting, be sure to comment and drop that in there. Maybe, just maybe. I know it's a small channel still, but maybe, just maybe, they'll get on it and they'll watch this video, and the developers could work on some of these ideas, right? I need to get on the forums and throw these ideas out there as well. Anyway, the training needs to be evolved to where you can use things like training camps to have an impact, short-term and long-term, that you can affect the fitness and fatigue of your riders, send guys home for a week to recover, or have them on a program of recovery. And then all that other stuff that I was just talking about, the nutritionist could affect your fitness, short-term, long-term. The transportation can affect your fitness, can affect your training, etc., right? This could all eventually mold together to have an impact on all of these things. Make your team more fit throughout the year. Make their training quicker, better, more efficient. But it needs more. It needs to be something you can break down, something that you can impact more directly, rider by rider. I don't want to have a crazy amount of micromanagement. But there's got to be some. There's got to be a little bit that I can actually impact. If I've got a guy that's hitting the end of the season and he's raced too much and he's fatigued, I should be able to do something about that. In the Pro Cyclist mode, you could do a little bit with that. I mean, you could certainly evolve the intensity of your training. Even that one additional option, week by week in Pro Cyclist mode, choosing the intensity of your training makes a world of difference that I don't get here in career mode. I have so little impact on the development of the riders that's just a huge aspect of the game that is missing. I'm managing a cycling team. There's so much interaction in the race, and I choose which riders are there. But then that's that. That's it. I like the contract offering system, and I like how that's done. So I like all of that, and I think that should stay. But I think the contract negotiations, maybe not rider by rider, but preparation. I like the sponsor confidence piece, but where is the component for like signing the new sponsorship deal, right? In game it says that it's supposed to be over months, but it's not. It's literally a 1 day thing. July 31st, your sponsor confidence level sets what your sponsorship is for the next year. Voila, it's done just like that. So that it should be evolved a bit more too. So I suppose there's the next thing on the wish list. That's about 5 now, right? Evolve trading, evolve the sponsorship contract deal into being something that takes place over months, that comes with negotiations, that comes with that sponsor confidence evaluation, and that could be just like it is, but that gives you a better sway. So now all of a sudden you have a range, right? Depending on the sponsor confidence, it could evolve this small amount, or it could evolve a little bit more. It could devolve a little bit, or a little bit more. It could increase significantly by a range of, 10,000. Or do you then look into negotiations with another team with another sponsor. Short term, long term. Wachtendorf out the back. Simpson out the back. 21 riders left in the field with 20 kilometers to go. 7 riders still off the front, nearly a minute ahead, but there they are as they turn the corner. It's getting tight. We do still have a race on our hands. Whoa, guys. Whoa. 93? Okay. Simpson was back on for just a fraction of a second. Swerble about to go out the back. There you go. Set him to auto, and now it's 3 riders in front. Marini, Verfecki, Veldeman. It's been amazing how this race has gone. 35 seconds. It's still 17 kilometers, so there is nothing I can do just yet, but let's get all these guys set to 99 and get them in a row. Marini, Veldeman, Verfecki's going to lead them out. Verfecki's 10th, Veldeman is 5th. Oh, Marini lost time. Oh, dang. So, yeah, as we're going to go for the overall, I'm going to launch Marini and Veldeman at the same time. Marini from behind. But Veldeman's the guy that I'm leading out as he is 5th overall. And Verfecki, even though he is in 10th, Verfecki's going to lead him out. Marini's not going to be a good lead out and would be a waste of an opportunity. So Verfecki should hold his place here for a good while. We're up to 40 riders with the breakaway caught. 10 kilometers to go. Anyway, be sure, leave a comment. Tell me what you think should be included. Tell me if you agree with the things that I think should be included in the upcoming Pro Cycling Manager 2019 or in years beyond. I mean, not all of that's going to be able to happen in one edition. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take trial and error. They're going to have to implement pieces and then develop that more in future editions. Swerble back on. We're up to 66 riders as the field has slowed down without a breakaway to chase, and no team except for now Quick-Step just now picking up the reins here with 5 kilometers to go as one of the race official cars just goes zooming by there. Let's pause for a second and let's see this. Yeah, yes, there is definitely a climb just before the end, and it is about a kilometer in length. So we're going to get all these guys to use their gel. And now Verfecki, not 99, but 95. Let's try to get forward. Now let's get it up here, and let's... Oh, come on. We're still just at the base of that climb. I don't want to hit it completely here. Okay, now it's 900. Let's go ahead and sprint. We are not in good position for this one at all. Verfecki did not get us to the front. Veldeman's just now getting around Verfecki and is still only about 20th wheel. So this one did not pay off. Brian Cockard takes the win over Nasser Bouhaddi. Pascalon takes 3rd. Arthur Vichot 4th. I think Vichot is going to have the win overall. Namvetti, Toynes, McCarthy, Boudet.
But the poor souls bringing up the rear continue to cross the line. It's a bit of a knock for the morale.
Veldeman, 19th. Verfecki, 20th. Marini, 21st. Veldeman and Marini, I did actually time it right on them. They just did not get a good lead out from Verfecki, is all. I waited too long, for one thing, to try to bring them to the front. And two, the pace in the field was rather slow, but Quick-Step really accelerated hard, where I'm usually the one that's accelerating hard at that point, trying to get out in front. And Quick-Step didn't pay off. They were barely inside the top 10, but they gave a heck of a lead out prior to that point where I just could not get in the position I needed to get in. I mean, Cockard was already sprinting a good K away from the line, was already in front with Bouhaddi side by side, and those two just stayed side by side, and no one ever got up beside them. So we barely passed a few riders on the way to the finish. Just a quick 3-stager on that one. Veldeman slips to 7th as Cockard picks up time bonus. Somebody else picked up Pascalon? No, he wasn't top 3. Not sure. Vervecki also in 12th, so good placing there. You can see there's a minute 2. There was only 15 riders left that stayed in the front group for every stage. But the time bonuses for those podium finishers, stage by stage, drops Veldeman a couple spots to 7th. Excuse me. And Vervecki finishes up 12th. Not a bad result by any means. We never got quite the top placing. Finished 5th twice on the stages. Veldeman 4 seconds behind Namvetti in the under 25s. So nearly took that one, and we took 6th as a team. Tell me, again, if you like the suggestions in the comments, and be sure to drop your own. Get in on the conversation, and let's see what we want to see coming out in 2019 and beyond, and the overall standings after that stage. After Moscon, Jan Izagirre there in 3rd, take the stage, but Quintana, Nibali, and Dumoulin still on top of the Giro at this point in time. But that's going to do it for this episode on Decathlon Gamer. And remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.